All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today, um, today we are going to be looking at what it takes to be a waiter and what they do all day.
Oh, interesting.
So basically, we're going to be walking in the shoes of a waiter, kind of seeing all the things that they have to do, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make our dining experience so smooth. Because, we kind of just expect our food to appear and our drinks to be refilled.
Yeah, we don't think much of it.
No. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And actually, we've got a great source today that kind of goes into the nitty-gritty of a waiter's daily routine. And it reveals, honestly, some really surprising insights. Like, did you know that a waiter's day actually often starts way before the restaurant doors even open?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, punctuality is key. You know, when you're in that kind of service role, arriving 15 for 30 minutes early, that's not just about being on time. You're setting the tone for a professional service experience.
Yeah, it's like that prep time,
Ab-
that athletes have before a big game.
Right.
They need to be mentally and physically prepped for what's to come.
Absolutely. And that includes, of course, a professional appearance.
Right.
You got to have that crisp uniform. Your hair's got to be neat. All of it contributes to that first impression.
It's that first impression, yeah.
Yeah, studies have shown that diners are way more likely to perceive a well-presented waiter as, more competent and attentive.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense. And it's not just about looking the part, though. They also need to be like menu masters, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing there's some serious menu cramming involved.
Oh, yeah, more than just cramming. It's about understanding the menu inside and out. Knowing ingredients, the preparation, methods, potential allergens. Think about it. That's the knowledge that lets them answer questions confidently and even make recommendations to people.
So it's like they're providing some genuine, expertise
Right.
to enhance the dining experience.
Right.
It's not just like, reading off a script.
Precisely. And you know what? It goes beyond the food menu. It's also the drink menu.
Right.
Being able to suggest an aperitif or walk a guest through the wine list, that's like next level service.
Yeah, that can really elevate a meal.
For sure.
For sure. Okay, so our waiter is prepped, looking sharp, menu knowledge locked and loaded. What's next in this pregame routine?
Well, our source goes on to describe a flurry of activity.
Yeah.
You're transforming the dining area into a welcoming space. So you're arranging tables, you're making sure every setting is spotless with a gleaming cutlery, the napkins are folded perfectly.
It's like setting the stage for a play.
Absolutely.
Right, creating the right ambiance, the right atmosphere.
Exactly. And think about the details. Condiments stocked, the menus are clean and readable, the drink stations are ready to go.
All those little things.
All those little things add up to make the experience seamless.
And something I found interesting in the source material was the pre-service meeting. What actually happens there?
It's like the team huddle before the game.
Okay, yeah.
The manager might share updates, maybe there's a VIP coming, potential challenges they need to talk through, and even sales goals for the day.
Wait. Sales goals? I never thought about that aspect.
But yeah, it's all part of running a restaurant. Having the whole team from the kitchen to the waiters all on the same page makes things run smoothly.
Make sure everybody's working together. Okay, so the scene is set, the team's been briefed, and now the moment of truth. The doors open, and our waiter is ready to greet the first guests.
Ah, yes. This is where that first impression we were talking about really comes into play.
Right.
A warm, professional greeting sets the tone.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah.
You walk into a place and you're greeted with, genuine warmth. It just makes you feel comfortable.
Exactly. And our source even gives a sample greeting. Good morning. Welcome to, whatever the restaurant name is. How many in your party today?
Simple, professional.
Right. It sets a nice stage for a good interaction.
Yeah. And then it's on to guiding those guests to their table. I imagine it's more than just pointing them in the right direction.
Oh, for sure. You want to make sure the table's clean, check for any preferences. Maybe they want a window seat, maybe something quieter, the little touches.
Yeah.
And if there are special needs like high chairs for family or wheelchair access, that's addressed right away.
It's about making everybody feel comfortable.
Precisely.
Okay. Guests are settled, menus are presented, and now it's time for the moment of truth. Taking the orders.
Ooh, yeah.
This is where things can get a little tricky, I imagine, especially when it's super busy.
Oh, yeah. It's a balance of speed and accuracy. You got to be a good listener, not just writing down the order, but, repeating it back, confirming those special requests, and then using shorthand or a POS system, point of sale.
Hold on, shorthand. Like a secret waiter code.
Well, maybe not secret, but definitely, efficient. Could be abbreviations, symbols, anything to get that order to the kitchen quickly and accurately.
Right, right. So it's a mix of people skills and memory and organizational skills. It's a lot to juggle.
It is. And remember, they're not just order takers, they're advisors, right?
Yeah.
If someone's unsure, they can guide them, make suggestions. It's all about enhancing the meal.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of this one time. I was just overwhelmed by the pasta options. And the waiter was so helpful, gave a great recommendation. Spot on.
There you go. You see, it's all part of the experience.
Yeah.
Right, so the orders are in, the anticipation is building. Now we wait for the food and drinks.
Now it's showtime.
Yes, this is where timing is key. Ideally, drinks are out in 5 minutes.
Yes.
And of course, if it's alcohol, you got to check IDs. And then the food arrives.
The grand reveal.
Exactly. Our source emphasizes how the waiter needs to serve each dish gracefully. Make sure it goes to the right person, and then that little touch. Is there anything else I can get for you? Just to be attentive.
I love those check-ins. It shows they care.
Exactly, and it doesn't stop there. A good waiter will circle back a few minutes later, make sure everything's good. If there's a problem, they can address it quickly. Maybe the steak is overcooked or something.
Right. So even while the guests are like enjoying their meals, the waiter's work is still going on in the background. It's not just a break between courses.
Oh, no. Our source describes it as a continuous dance, clearing plates, refilling drinks, getting tables ready for the next guests. It's all got to be done while staying calm and collected.
It really is like a carefully choreographed ballet. You're moving between tables, anticipating needs, making sure everything's flowing smoothly.
You got it. And all that side work we were talking about, that's essential. No one wants to eat in a messy restaurant.
Right, right.
A clean, organized space just makes for a better experience.
Yeah.
So it's not just about clearing plates, it's about curating the ambiance.
Yeah.
And even when things are slow, there's always something to do. Folding napkins, polishing the cutlery, refilling the condiments. It's all about that seamless experience.
Okay, bellies are full, conversations are winding down, and now it's time for the final act. The bill and that all-important tip.
Ah, yes, this is where you got to be professional. The bill arrives quickly, payments taken care of smoothly, whether it's cash, card, or, we're seeing more and more of those mobile payment options.
It's funny how those little interactions can really stick with you. I remember once the waiter was just so friendly and efficient with the payment, it really made the whole experience better.
It just goes to show every interaction matters. A genuine thank you and a hope to see you again goes a long way.
And speaking of, loyalty, some restaurants use tip pooling systems, right?
Oh, yeah.
To make sure everyone's getting their fair share.
It's a great way to encourage teamwork. Everyone benefits from good service.
Oh.
But even with a pooled system, that individual thank you, that farewell, can still make a lasting impression on a guest.
All right, so the guests have left, the lights are getting dimmed, it's closing time. But a waiter's work isn't over yet. What happens next?
Wow.
We left off with the restaurant closing up for the night, but like you were saying, the waiter's shift isn't actually over yet.
Yeah.
What does that closing routine actually look like?
Yeah, it's like imagine the stage after the play, right? You got to set up for tomorrow's show.
Right.
Our source goes into all the closing duties. Clearing off the tables, sweeping, mopping, all that good stuff.
So cleaning up, basically.
Well, cleaning, yeah, but it's more than that. It's about resetting, making sure everything's fresh for when the next shift comes in.
Makes sense. You don't want to walk into like a disaster zone at the start of your shift.
Exactly. Keeps that cycle of, efficiency going.
Keeps the machine running. So it's not just about like wiping things down.
Yeah.
It's about setting the stage for success the next day.
Yeah.
What else is involved in that final phase of the night?
Well, they have to make sure all the orders are closed out properly, no loose ends. And confirm any tasks with the manager, maybe even a quick debrief with the team about how things went.
It's interesting how this job, which we think is pretty simple, actually involves so much communication.
Right. A whole team effort. But let's be real, not every night at the restaurant is going to be perfect. What about those moments when things go wrong?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, we've all been there, The food takes forever, the waiter brings the wrong order, somebody spills their drink. How do they handle that?
Yeah, I'd love to know what our source has to say about dealing with those tricky moments.
So remember we were talking about that continuous dance. Even when it's crazy busy, waiters are expected to keep everything looking clean and organized.
It's got to be a challenge, navigating around all those people.
Oh, for sure. And then, there's always those little accidents. A dropped fork, a glass tips over.
Oh, I've been that person, definitely. So embarrassing. What do they do when that happens?
Well, according to our source, the key is to think fast and focus on the solution. So, clean up the spill quickly, replace whatever got dropped, and just, deal with any concerns the customer has.
Right, make it right.
Exactly. It's almost like they need a sixth sense to, like, spot problems before they even happen.
Yeah, it's like they're ninjas. But I mean, what about those times when, like, they do everything right, but a mistake still happens?
Yeah.
The kitchen messes up the order, the food's overcooked. How do they handle that?
Well, nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
The source emphasizes taking ownership, apologizing, and offering a solution right away. It's not about blaming someone else or making excuses. It's about fixing the problem.
Taking responsibility.
Yeah. And sometimes that means bringing out a new dish or a free dessert or maybe even taking something off the bill, whatever it takes to make the customer happy.
It really shows you that a waiter does way more than just bring out food.
Absolutely. It's about problem solving and diplomacy and staying calm in tough situations.
Speaking of tough situations, how do they deal with, like, difficult customers?
Yeah.
People who are really demanding or impatient, maybe having a bad day.
Yes. Dealing with difficult diners, it's a skill. Patience, empathy, diplomacy.
Like walking a tightrope.
Exactly. Our source says it's about staying calm even when the customer is upset or being unreasonable. You got to listen to them, acknowledge their concerns, and then try to find a solution that works for everyone.
It's almost like conflict resolution training.
It is. And sometimes you have to bring the manager in to, like, de-escalate things or offer a sincere apology, even if the restaurant didn't do anything wrong.
It's about keeping everyone happy,
Yeah.
even if you have to, swallow your pride a bit.
Yeah. And let's face it, we've all been that difficult customer at some point, probably without even realizing it.
I'm sure we have.
Yeah.
But it makes you appreciate how patient and professional those waiters are every day.
It's a good reminder to be kind to each other, but I'm also curious about, the way waiters interact with each other.
Oh, yeah. Good point. It's got to be a team effort. What are some of the secrets to their teamwork?
Well, think about a busy restaurant, orders going in and out, people needing things, waiters running all over the place.
It would be crazy if everyone was just shouting at each other all the time.
Right. That's why waiters have this whole, like, unspoken language.
Really? Tell me more.
It's like a secret code. They use gestures, eye contact, even how they position the plates and silverware to talk to each other.
Wow. So I'm picturing, like, a waiter tilting their head toward the bar to signal they need a drink refill.
You got it. It's a fast and efficient way to communicate without disturbing the customers.
It's amazing how much you have to, like, pay attention to detail as a waiter. They're not just serving food, they're reading the room and coordinating with everyone.
Exactly. And it's not just between the waiters, it's with the kitchen staff, too. Imagine if they had to shout every order through a busy kitchen.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare. So how do they do it?
Well, our source says they use hand signals. Standing by the kitchen pass, a raised hand means a new order, a tapping motion means hurry up, things like that.
It's like their own secret language. Do the chefs have to, like, go to school to learn all this?
It takes a lot of teamwork. Everyone has to be on the same page. It's pretty
Right.
amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. Dining out is more than just eating. It's like watching a performance.
It really is. So next time you go out to eat, try to pay attention to those little cues. You'll be amazed at what you notice.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching for those secret signals now. It's like a whole other layer to the dining experience.
For sure. Okay, so we've talked about all the crazy things that waiters have to deal with, but there's one more thing I want to talk about.
What's that?
Tips.
Oh, right. That's got to be a big part of their income. I'm sure our listeners would be curious about how that all works.
Tipping is tricky, even for people who eat out a lot.
Okay, so let's break it down. What does our source say about how tips work?
First, it's important to remember that tipping is different in every country.
Yeah, in some places it's considered rude, in others it's expected.
Right. But here in country, you're usually expected to tip, and it makes up a big part of a waiter's earnings.
So, any tips for us on how to tip properly?
Well, a standard tip is between 15% and 20% of the bill before tax. And you can adjust that based on, how good the service was, how complicated your order was, things like that.
It's like a way to say thank you for good service.
Exactly. But it's not always easy, especially when the bill is already expensive.
Yeah, sometimes that 20% can be a lot.
Right. So tip what you can afford. Even a small tip is better than nothing.
It's the thought that counts.
Exactly. But beyond just the amount, there are some things you can do to make the whole tipping experience better, both for you and the waiter.
Like what?
Well, if you're paying with cash, it's better to leave the tip on the table instead of handing it directly to them.
Yeah, that seems more polite.
And if you're paying with a card, write the tip amount clearly on the receipt so there's no confusion.
Good tips. But what about when the service is, not so great? Does our source have any advice on that?
It's definitely awkward. They suggest talking to the waiter or the manager right away if something's wrong.
Give them a chance to fix it before you decide on the tip.
Yeah, most restaurants want their customers to be happy, and they'll try to make things right.
It's all about communication, which is what we've been talking about all along.
Right. But if you've talked to them and you're still unhappy, it's totally okay to adjust the tip.
But do it respectfully, of course.
Of course. Remember, waiters are people too. Everybody makes mistakes.
Okay, that covers a lot about tipping. It's more complicated than I thought.
It is. But remember, tipping is just one part of the experience. The best meals are about the connection between the diner and the waiter.
I like that. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but stay tuned for more insights into the world of waiters. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking about all the stuff that waiters do, all the things that go on behind the scenes that we never even think about.
It's pretty amazing, right? All that work that goes into making our dining experience so smooth.
Yeah, it's like a whole hidden world.
Yeah.
And speaking of hidden, there's one more thing I want to get into.
I bet I know what you're thinking. That secret language they use.
Exactly. The way waiters communicate with each other and with the kitchen, it's like a code.
Right. We talked about how they work together, anticipating needs, making sure everyone gets good service.
Yeah, like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
But how do they do it without, like, shouting across the restaurant all the time? What are some of those signals they use?
Well, think about it. In a busy restaurant with everyone talking and music playing, it would be chaos if the waiters were yelling at each other.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So they've developed this whole system of like silent communication, gestures, eye contact, even the way they arrange the plates and silverware.
Like a secret code. So, I'm picturing a waiter tilting their head toward the bar to signal they need more drinks.
Exactly. It's all about being discreet and efficient so they don't interrupt the customers.
Wow. So being a good waiter is about way more than just knowing the menu. You have to be, like, super observant, reading the room, coordinating with everyone.
It's a lot of multitasking, and that silent communication goes for the kitchen, too. They have to get the food out at the right time without messing up orders.
Yeah, timing is everything. So
Yeah.
how do they communicate with the kitchen staff without, making a bunch noise?
Our source mentions that they use a lot of hand signals, like standing by the kitchen door, they might raise a hand to signal a new order, or tap their fingers to mean, hurry up.
That's so cool. Do the chefs have to, like, take a special class to learn all those signals?
It definitely takes teamwork. Everyone in the restaurant has to be on the same page. It's pretty amazing when you think about all the things that have to happen to make the meal run smoothly.
It really is. It's like dining out is more than just eating. It's like watching a performance.
I like that.
Yeah.
So next time you go to a restaurant, pay attention to all the little things going on around you. You might be surprised at what you see.
I will. I'm going to be looking for all those secret signals now. It's like a whole new way to appreciate the experience.
It is. It's a reminder that even in the busiest restaurant, there's this hidden language, this silent choreography that keeps everything running smoothly.
Well, I think we've learned a lot about waiters today. It's definitely more than just taking orders and serving food. There's so much more to it.
Absolutely. Attention to detail, staying calm under pressure, knowing how to anticipate what people need. It's a tough job.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully our listeners have a new appreciation for all the hard work that waiters do.
Me too. So next time you're out at a restaurant, take a minute to watch all the things the waiters are doing, and maybe you'll catch some of those secret signals. You'll definitely see them in a new light.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of waiters. Thanks for listening.
It was fun. See you next time.